Hi everybody, I'm here like usual. What would you consider a worthwhile purchase? Is it food, bills, gasoline for your vehicle, clothing for your children, food again? That's a complicated question. The value of your purchase to you is just as important as the purchase itself. And with that being said, I don't regret spending $20 on a King K. Rool figure. Amiibo, the thing Nintendo started doing in late 2014 in the Wii U era that's evolved into something. I will always remember the Wii U for those god-awful commercials. The wildly inconsistent games that were released in the era, the flat safety or absolute stupid directions the majority of first-party releases fell under, but then they had Amiibo, this final attempt to do something with the built-in NFC readers in the gamepad. Nintendo saw the Toys to Life trend making the big bucks in Skylanders Land, saw a good bit of that in Disney Infinity, and then looked at their giant cast of iconic characters, and the rest of it is a history just as much as it is a mystery. By that I mean we gotta look back to when things released came out, how they became such an enigma to this day. So around the second half of 2013 and most of 2014, there was the great Smash Bros. Hype cycle, a time where every 6 to 10 years, Nintendo warriors across the whole wide world get a little too excited for when a new Smash Bros. Releases. I would know, I'm one of them, full of speculation, predictions, leaks, a whole content creation ecosystem. And when a character got revealed, like that meant something, dude. Getting a dedicated CG trailer just to reveal that the Duck Hunt dog was getting a slot in the game, we loved to see it. But during E3 of 2014, there was this incredible trailer where Iwata and Reggie were fighting each other, not only revealing the Mii's joining the game, but also like this Mario figure thing. What was this? It was more important than the actual characters revealed. Well, that's an Amiibo, and in this new game, you're gonna be able to train them, make them fight like you, make them the strongest they can be, train up your Amiibo and have them kill each other for your entertainment in a lovely Coliseum event. Me personally though, I was excited. Little kiddo Choopo was curious to see where this was gonna go. And when the Wii U version of the game released and the first wave of Amiibo came alongside it, I truly don't know what I was more excited for. I mean, like, I already got Mega Man and Pac-Man in the game, and Mewtwo was returning. I was beyond content. Though I knew I was gonna have to wait until Christmas to get the game and hopefully a few figures alongside it. Like, it was one thing to have to wait until holiday season to get the game. I've been waiting nearly 2 years at this point for the game. I just had to get an Amiibo. And sure enough, managed to buy a Mario and Yoshi with my feeble little pathetic kid money, and this was the start of seeing how Amiibo were really gonna be like. That's right, fellas, I'm talking about supply and demand. How many figures existed? How many were wanted by the public? And Nintendo kinda sorta misread some of the demand. Within 2014 came the first 18 figures of the Smash Bros. Line, easily the most successful these things are ever gonna get. And for good reason, they look like the trophies in game. A huge part of Smash Bros. Brawl was the Subspace Emissary, where the entire cast was playing a giant game of freeze tag where you would turn into trophies. Intentionally or not, it worked really well. And the training mechanic this game held was such a good and fun mechanic. In fact, I'm actually surprised more games didn't take this exact formula. Like Mario Kart alone could have made trainable figures. I would have loved to place bet on the equivalent of horse races, but with a Luigi. Along with that, why wasn't there more of an effort to maybe have like the online modes where you have the Amiibo fight? Maybe if your internet sucks, you could at the very least have some sort of honorary way to battle. You could already bet on players in Smash Bros. Why don't we do more of that? The launch of the Amiibo almost instantly revealed some major problems. Some figures were especially rarer than others. Of the first dozen to drop, you had the original 8 starting roster of Smash 64 plus Peach that were easy or even just a little harder to find. And then you had the big 3, Villager, Marth, and Wii Fit Trainer, because friendly reminder, this is the Wii U era. Nintendo didn't realize how in-demand Animal Crossing figures were yet, but don't worry, they will remember and it will be a mistake. These 3 were so very hard to find thanks to scalpers and hoarders and all of that. If you had the money, you could do it, but why would anyone spend that money? Plus, a lot of Smash fans were hoping to get a complete collection. At this point, totally doable, considering each figure was like 13 USD tops, and the absolute highest you could realistically buy one without feeling bad would be like $20. Plus, Wave 2 would come out right after that with characters that fans could assume were gonna be harder to hunt. Captain Falcon, Little Mac, Pit. Considering that most of the safe characters already released in Wave 1, you could only imagine how hard some of these guys were gonna get to find. I remember just seeing these videos and watching grown-ass men run to Best Buy and Target to their local game stores just for a chance for a rare find. To grasp Wii Fit Trainer, and I could only wonder how kind Christmas was gonna be for me this year. But all of the Amiibo were at the top of my most wanted list. I was really curious of what was gonna happen. Flash forward, Holy Grail lineup to baby elementary school choopo, along with the release of Wave 2. From a couple of figures to an army army. Look at that jump of little critters and characters that I used them well, you know, with the Smash Bros line. I found out that figures would train and learn some of the habits the players would do. I remember seeing this video of someone teaching a Pikachu to do exclusively down Bs. I think it was a Chadtronic video. I wanted to abuse this. I taught my little Mac to never leave the ground, only do smash attacks, and then I rigged him and buffed him to make him unstoppable. I think a couple times I definitely took advantage of my parents' electricity bill by like having them all fight each other with unlimited time while I was at school. I'd come home and then create some characters with genuine love, and other ones were horrifying self-made demons. Flash forward again, Wave 3 drops. Amiibos are just starting to go beyond the Smash Bros line. Mario's getting some new ones out for Mario Party 10. Kirby will get some, and then it's kind of it for a while. It already felt like the value of Amiibo lost their purposes for existing outside of the Smash Bros training. 2015 in general saw a lot of good uses for the characters, but it really was 50-50. Sometimes it would be entirely new cosmetics or even modes for your characters, like Yoshi's Woolly World and Mario Maker, but then you would have ones like Hyrule Warriors where I think you get items. I was already losing most interest outside of the obvious best game to do it, but I mean, with the release of Wave 3, my collection was still going. I went from a troop of characters to an army. I had this one small coffee table thing in my room. I made a little city out of old game and movie boxes, and you know, I had them all live there and fight in them. Amiibo came out in my prime era when I was like when I was into like stop motion fights and just like, you know, the Toy Story fights or whatever, and I would just have all of my little dudes fighting and shit. I'd have them go up against my Sonic Jazzwares and like this weird Goku toy I had for some reason. So my birthday rolls around, Mario Day, Choopo Day, very fun. My birthday's on March 10th. I kind of recognized that I only wanted the Smash Bros ones. Coincidentally, so did most of the Nintendo nerds still looking for these things. Wave 3 was like the era where finding some of these guys were held. Nintendo made 4 of Wave 3's figures exclusive to certain retails in the United States, which is something they would keep doing in the future. If you wanted all of these guys, or even just like your main, you would have to go to a specific location. So sorry if you like Meta Knight and don't live near a Best Buy. You don't get one unless you want to spend $50 on Amazon, which by the way, Amazon got exclusives too, so you know, even better. Looking more into the Amiibo modes or content added to the games, it was really strange seeing where some games drew the lines. Most of the time it wasn't mandatory, and rarely did it feel like it was really worth it at all. Again, Mario Party had a fun enough dedicated mode that was more or less kind of boring. Codename Steam had playable Fire Emblem figures. You know, it actually rewarded you for playing the game, but like, who was playing Codename Steam? And what's the overlap between Codename Steam and Fire Emblem Amiibo owners? If I'm not mistaken, the worst Mario Tennis game, Ultra Smash, I think that's what it's called, had compatible Amiibo that you could train. It's not the same. Why would you train someone to play tennis? You could just do that in real life. It's not like I wanna be able to fight with as Shulk. I want to train a Shulk Amiibo. I don't want to teach Donkey Kong to do tennis. And then there was the trading card gimmick on the shitty 3DS Mario Superstars game. And the worst of it all had to be, in terms of gameplay, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. I think it's been said to death, this is one of Nintendo's most hated games. Just of all time. A big issue with Amiibo in comparison to other Toys to Life things was how there really wasn't a major dedicated game that encouraged having these characters, something that every other major competitor did. You weren't getting like a unique playable character like Skylanders and Disney Infinity and Lego Dimensions. Some Amiibo were just made to be better than others. Objectively speaking, the Mario and Zelda figures held the most value, and my Toon Link Amiibo, dude, that was my LeBron. The amount of things I unlocked because of this guy, he's in my day ones. I'm loyal to this Toon Link as he is to me. Amiibo Festival takes it too far. Having a collection of Animal Crossing figures that are cool and no complaints there, but you would also have the Animal Crossing cards and Zelda Villages added to New Leaf. This is still the best Animal Crossing game, by the way. This update cemented that. Everything here relies on the use of figures or cards, and you can't roll the dice without an Amiibo scan. You can't do you can't progress without an Amiibo scan. This is a board game, but worse because it's taking up your TV and not a good way. Like if I'm playing a weird niche, never heard of card or board game, I want to have a movie. I want to have Paul or Scary Movie on in the background. Create a nice group environment. Make a good memory. Have snacks. You can't do that with Amiibo Festival. You just get disappointment. To play Amiibo Festival, you gotta play like 30 turns, 1 turn per day of the month. The shortest game you can have is on February. You need to spend like $120 to get 4 figures and the game itself. Plus, it's just annoying. And I like Animal Crossing. I'm saying this as someone who enjoys the franchise, but not enough to hoard 16 of these things. And I just want to note that the roster kind of sucks too. Out of the 16 characters, 2 of them are Isabel in different outfits. You added Lottie from Happy Home Designer, not Sable, not Brewster. I would have bought Brewster as an amiibo, even if I didn't buy the game at all. That's my favorite guy. I don't care if there's NPCs in the game. Let me play as him. And now to this day, I see some of the figures rotting in 5 and below. In fact, I remember just seeing this huge overstock of figures in one of these 5 and belows one time, and there was just like a wheelbarrow in the front full of the Roy and Ryu and Animal Crossing ones. The stock was so wildly inconsistent, and you could tell. Over the next couple years, especially when waiting for the next Smash Bros game, I kind of just stockpiled them, hoping, adding more to the collection, just because I thought they were cool as a full set. Even refused to buy some characters I had zero interest in, like Robin, possibly the lamest character added to Smash Bros. It's up there, it definitely up there, definitely is up there. And then also I lost my Samus figure. I don't want to talk about it, I'm still sad by that. I was happy seeing newcomers getting new characters, like regardless of how it felt, when Smash Ultimate was coming on, seeing that Ridley was gonna get a character, like that, I wanted that. So cut to Smash Bros Ultimate's release. I'm unlocking all the stuff during my winter break in high school, having a great time. Right after exiting World of Light and unlocking Lucas, I wanted to see how one of my best amiibo were gonna play in Ultimate, and then I was just crushed. Amiibo transfer between games was not a priority. I saw my dearest little Donkey Kong would be fully reset with minimal progress, and that just kind of hurt. It hurt a lot. And then I realized I lost it all if I moved it all to Smash Ultimate. And it made me question how much I truly cared for Amiibo. They weren't there to enhance games. They weren't a fun extra thing that made you hunt out certain characters. They were socially acceptable statues, just one tier above anime figures, and nothing more, nothing less. Maybe on the same tier as Funkos. I couldn't tell you. When I have that statue of King K. Rool next to me at my work desk, that's all it is. That's all I care for anymore. I have no real interest in getting any other characters besides like the original Cloud figure that I would get that. I would get that, maybe Snake and Captain Falcon if I can find them. They're designed well. Red from Pokemon, that's it. No more. Even if they look great, that's all I care for. As for Amiibo uses in the Switch era, the majority of them become virtually obsolete or pointless, but on occasion you have some cool ones. Breath of the Wild is the best example. Placing down an Amiibo from the Zelda line would give you exclusive armor locked behind respective figures, like the Sheik one that increases stealth. And you're also allowed to summon and permanently unlock Link's most well-known horse, Epona, and then you can also get Wolf Link. And this is a great addition. It's entirely optional, it does not better or worsen the game, but it's still a fun inclusion. The cosmetics are mostly worthless outside of the very start of the game, because they're a hell to upgrade because all of them use these shooting star things that are unbelievably unfun to collect because of how out of the way they'll always be. Like, you'll just have some materials that reference each different armor set or something. This feels more like a waste than anything. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove actually had a fantastic use of the original Shovel Knight figure. On each console exclusive version of the game, there was a special bonus connected to whatever platform you went on. PlayStation gets an exclusive Kratos fight and armor. Xbox went with the Battletoads and more armor. The Wii U, and I think the Switch, comes out with a fun little figure full of exclusive new abilities, like a dedicated run with an Amiibo figure. It's such a unique change for this classic game. You appear differently, you get to do new stuff. It's one of my favorite games ever. Huge fan of what was done here. It feels like an official mod, if that makes sense. The only complaint I have is that this Amiibo's locked behind a couple versions of the game. I truly wish more was done here, or maybe someday there will be a surprise update that adds this on the Steam version. That would be wonderful. This feels like it should be more publicly available. There's more second and third party Amiibo beyond this, by the way. Mega Man Legacy Collection had this golden Mega Man that let you unlock a few challenges, along with a dedicated figure. That's a fair enough addition, I guess. Nothing too major, nothing too hard to make. This is fine. Box Boy lets you unlock a Game Boy filter already in the game. Okay. Diablo's armor lets you get loot earlier? I don't know. I never played a Diablo game, nor am I gonna expect to play them in the future. Monster Hunter gives you more free shit. And then there's the Dark Souls remaster. One of the greatest games of the 2010s added a new Solaire figure with such a new variable to such a different outlier of a video game honestly in the entire industry. With the way that Dark Souls has this interconnected world and it feels like a proper journey, a game where the community had to come together to discover secrets and special items and alternate ways to progress the events of the story for the benefit of the player. The addition of a figure of Solaire, one of Dark Souls' biggest heroes, what are we gonna expect happens here? Well, you get a gesture early. That's it. According to Google's shopping tab that I just pulled up, the cheapest figure available right now is like $30. You would be lucky to get this for over $100. And then the only major in-game reward is a gesture that if you're running a faith build or know the value of joining the Warrior Sunlight Covenant like I do, you can get this after like 2 bosses in the 20 to 40 hour game. Like not even a full hour in. And not to mention, it's entirely cosmetic. It is a emote. You get it 40 minutes earlier. Why even bother? Literally, all you would have to do in Dark Souls fashion is add some new dialogue, give new armor, or like allow your stats to transfer between armors so you can like look cool but have like better looking armor. Like you get what I mean. Or even just guarantee he survives the end of the game or something. Make him summonable at every boss fight. There's so many routes you could go with a cool figure, and you just don't do anything here. It's disappointing, and it justifies bootlegging. Of all amiibo, Solaire is the only one that seems to be consistently bootlegged because of the supply and demand. Just meaning you can't use it on in-game with proper NFC functions. I mean, that sucks, but it's also like it's truly worthless. It's just a cool figure. I think with this in mind, the funniest figure implemented has to be the Detective Pikachu amiibo that lets you rewatch cutscenes for free. Wow, how could you find out about this game or amiibo? The internet? Where can you watch all the Detective Pikachu cutscenes for free? The internet. Why would you make a dedicated project for watching a single YouTube video compilation that you could have already implemented in the game? In a sense, I feel like amiibo might have done as much harm as they did good, you know? Like, they're not horrible, but you can tell they were made for one specific intention, not really knowing where to go after that one thing. They worked well and their best in the first attempt. A couple others were decent, costed an appropriate amount, and never truly overdid it, but in the end, I just wish there was a little more going on, to say the least. More ambition were possible, or just a better fine line. Not just a level of a board game. Justify the existence of these toys, or even go all the way and make some of them impossible to find in that case. The idea of someone buying over 100 Rosalina amiibo out of spite for their hatred of the character is really funny, but I wish we we utilize this properly. Just guarantee more cosmetics. Like if every Smash Bros figure gave you a new skin for that character, everyone would love that. That would be awesome. But now the figures more or less get drip fed, at least until a new Smash Bros comes out. Recently, a bunch of new figures got revealed, like the Mario Galaxy ones, and Sakurai's running it back with the training the characters via the Air Ride game. Metroid Prime 4 as well. My complaint now actually comes from the pricing. Like these are purely for just keeping them on your desk now. These aren't DLC packs. These are small optional fun gimmicks added to the game. Ones that should not be as expensive as the game, but again, they look cool. They are more detailed now. I understand why they're more expensive. It's just, this is more or less official merch that works in games. I would love to try training my Air Ride figures, but I don't know if I'm interested because I'm cool with spending the money on Air Ride. I think Sakurai makes great games. I'm very excited for the new Air Riders. I really don't see myself spending like $50 to train an amiibo. I don't want to, I don't need to. Please only get these if you like how they look and are willing to keep them. To be proud of them and have them in your room wherever you want. Even if a woman comes over. Do not be intimidated when they see your little Waddle Dee figure. Who knows how many more amiibo we're gonna get. Just be smart. Only buy the ones you like. Maybe for the designs. Like those Mario Galaxy ones, I mean, they look great. They only give you an extra life, but that's cool. Amiibo are dead. Oh my god. One time when I was a kid, I had a sleepover, and one of my friends thought it would be funny to hide my amiibo all around my house, and that's how I permanently lost my Samus figure because of that. They forgot where it was. I will never forgive you for that moment, and they are not welcome near or in my house ever again. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more. Please subscribe for more. Okay, bye.